30 people.
Oof. That's like a pyramid scheme kind of thing.
Yeah, I saw another like local media guy had the same thing.
Oh,
What's his name?
gosh.
Akash. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Is it true that yesterday was your first Veterans Day off ever?
It's my first one. It only took 12 years, but I embraced it.
Is it strange?
A little bit, yeah. I had to ask Christian for tips. He's well versed in them. But yeah, no, it was something Kyle and I had talked about before training camp about mixing a few in this year, and I think it was good for me. I felt fresh today.
Brian Schneider was just in here talking about kick return stuff. We've seen you and Debo kind of working together.
Yeah.
What's your take on just kind of the new rule and maybe
Yeah.
your in interest in being involved in that?
Yeah, I think it's super interesting, and just my gut feeling is that I think it's going to be like a much bigger play than a lot of people anticipate. There's like some real opportunities for big plays, and I think I could help in that. I think Debo would definitely help in that. I think we could be a good combo back there because there's a lot of moving parts, and there has to be kind of a natural feel for those returners back there. And sometimes it's just things that you just have to be able to play off each other well, and I think we do that good. But I'm really excited. I think this could be a really big deal and could really change field position.
You talk about a natural feel. Is there an element of just like it feels like an offensive play, particularly with you and Debo, where you've?
It really is a lot. It's basically a wide zone play once you get the ball in your hands. But I think that's going to be one of the hardest things is getting the ball in your hands. I think it's going to be kind of a game to keep away. I think the kickers are really going to try and mix it up with different balls and make it hard to field and all that kind of stuff. But once you get that ball, it's really like a wide zone where you're pressing your gap and cutting off of people. And I do kind of see it like an offensive play.
As far as days off, do you and the team in general have to look ahead to January and possibly playing deep into January? And are you sort of looking at that now and sort of kind of gauging where you'll be
Right.
6 months from now?
Like yes and no. Like I'm not necessarily like thinking specifically about January and all that, but I do think we're all very conscious and more aware of how long of a season it is, and how long of seasons it's been for us the last 4 or 5 years, and you do need to like think about that now in pacing yourself. It's so like yesterday, it's our first day in pads, and I'm like, even it's my off day, but I'm itching to get out there because you're just natural competitors, you're football players. Like first day of pads is like a kind of a ceremonious day, but you got to remind yourself like, all right, me going out and proving myself here on the first day of pads. What are we doing? Like that's not the goal. The goal is to be healthy throughout the season and deep into the season. And so, managing those reps early on will help that down the road.
When you look back at last season, is there any thought that the way that you began the playoffs, which I think everybody agrees wasn't quite your peak against Green Bay and early on against the Lions, did that have anything to do with season-long fatigue, or was it the Week 17 game, or?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't. There's it's tough to say. Because we kind of had that Week 17 where not everybody played and we had a bye week. But you're always juggling health versus rhythm and what to do in those scenarios. But I think you guys can tell me for sure. But I think the math would say that health and like people who have that bye week typically the math has said that they have a better chance of making the Super Bowl. So I think it's smart to rest guys and have them healthy. But you're always playing that game of rhythm versus freshness.
You were pretty eloquent, I thought, after the Super Bowl, talking immediate aftermath about the need to come back and try again. And then you go through an offseason that's a contract thing that couldn't have been real fun for you to go through, while other guys are cashing in the opposite direction in terms of money. What was your thought process in putting all that together and coming back?
Yeah. I had a lot of thoughts, and it changed as the days went on. Obviously, like I wasn't too happy when I was first presented with that, but it's one of those things that you kind of have to work through it. And at the end of the day, like I feel like I have the best opportunity in the world to play here for the Niners, um, and I do think that I'm being taken care of, in a good way as a fullback on this team, and I am happy with my role, and yeah, like my ego took some shots, but at the end of the day, I want to be on a team that all these superstars are getting paid this more money because that means they did something pretty good the year before, and I feel a part of that. So all in all, I'm just happy to be on this team and have another opportunity to go win a Super Bowl.
Does it feel like business issues are sort of hanging over this team in a way that it hasn't in the past 7 years?
No, just because I feel like every year there's kind of been someone in that position. Honestly, I feel kind of well versed in it. And it really is something that like in the locker room, we don't take personally, and we understand like guys go through that stuff, and a lot of guys that have gone through it ourselves. So I think there's a good understanding in the locker room.
When Brock had 4 of his final 5 passes intercepted today, the one to get him was to you, but
Yeah.
what's his demeanor like? And because this is camp where you should try to fit things into windows. Does he dismiss it? Does that competitive rage come out of him? It just seems like he understands his camp.
Yeah. Quite honestly, I didn't really observe him after that, so I can't say exactly. But just kind of going off of just Brock, the 3 years I've been with him, that I mean, he's a super competitive guy and he expects a lot of himself. But he always seems to handle those things well. He's not throwing a temper tantrum or anything like that. But he's still hard on himself, and generally stays pretty positive. So I didn't see him exactly, but that's what I would expect.
Kyle, what do you think of the new guys in the room with Taylor and Garendo and Schrader?
Been impressed. Been really impressed with those guys. I think we have a really special running back room. Quite honestly, I think this is the best running back room I've ever been in. From top to bottom, I think we got some really good players, and been particularly impressed with Cody Schrader. He's works his absolute tail off. He's very intelligent. He goes out there and just plays a good, consistent, clean game, and we've really enjoyed having him. But all those guys have been impressive. They're all very smart, do things the right way, and I love our room.
It was a little tough day for Brock, but it's really his first off season, being in training camp, with getting all the reps. Where do you see him compared to what he was like last year, or like the year before when he got those few reps?
Yeah, I think I've seen improvement. Even if he had a few picks today. In general, I feel like Brock has improved. The confidence seems to be there more. The arm strength seems to be there a little bit more. I think putting the pads on, the pass rush starts to get a little more real. So it may take a day or two to adjust, but I'm not here to make excuses for Brock. So I'm sure he'll speak on that. But I expect only good things from him.
All right. Thanks, Juice.
Thank you.